Hi, it's Lizzie with the Board Game Spotlight, and today we're going to be taking a look at Shaolia from Bad Comet. With chaos and war breaking out across the continent of Shaolia, lords from various regions have risen up to claim leadership. Do you have what it takes to be the next ruler of Shaolia? Played over multiple rounds, the ultimate goal is to deal 12 damage to an opponent's castle or to achieve 18 culture points. So let's take it to the table and look at it. The first player will be selected and given the first player marker. There are 3 different phases. The first player will always go first during each phase, finishing their turn before the second player will complete theirs, and so on. And then the first player will rotate every round. The first is the purchase phase. There are 4 things that you can buy during the purchase phase. Level 1 cards. You may buy these for 1 gold. You can also purchase level 2 cards, but you get these by discarding 3 cards of any level and taking them into your hand. You will choose from the drafting row in front of you. Once you have taken 1 card, you refill the drafting row. You may swap out the cards in the drafting row by paying 1 gold to refresh it. You can also pay 4 gold to gain 1 die. This will be used on your next turn. You can also pay 1 mineral to gain 2 officers. You can use these during the subsequent rounds to change a die face by 1 per officer. Next is the building phase. You may build cards that you have purchased during the previous phase on your territory board by paying the cost shown on the card and placing it as an empty space on your board. Check for building conditions on the level 2 card, as there may be requirements you have to fulfill before you may build it. So with the level 1 card, you paid 1 the previous round. Now you'll pay 1 gold to place it on your board. The level 2 cards are a little bit more difficult. This smelter needs 2 gold and 1 mineral before it can be placed down here. The ranch would cost 5 gold. There are 6 different types of cards. So we have gold cards, like this ranch would gain you 6 gold when you place a 6 on it. We have mineral cards. This mineral card is the smelter, and you can gain 2 minerals by placing a 2 on it, or you can gain 4 minerals by placing a 4 and a 5. We also have attack cards. So we have the cavalry, so you can deal 2 damage by placing a 2, or you can deal 5 damage by placing a 4 and a 5. We also have culture cards. So the temple lets you gain 2 culture if you place a 1, or 5 culture with a 3 and a 4. There are also defense cards. Now defense cards must be placed on the outer edge of your player board. This is a passive and it must be attacked first, or you can put a 5 on it and gain 2 additional life tokens. We also have trade cards. These trade cards allowed you to trade and sell and buy from the trade board over here. So if you put a 1 on here, you can trade with true trading posts. So on that turn you could buy mineral, so you can do this 3 times, 3 gold for 1 mineral, or you could hire mercenaries. So these mercenaries will deal 1 damage. You can do it 3 times and they cost 2 gold each. In addition to building during your turn, you may also open the lock spaces on your board by paying 3 gold and discarding them from your tableau. You can also demolish previously constructed cards to open up room for new cards. The cards you wish to demolish must be removed from the game. You may not rearrange your board, and you cannot save them to bring them back later. Once they're removed from the game, they are gone. The last of the 3 phases is the action phase. During this phase, you will roll 3 dice or more if you bought them in the previous phase, and then you're going to activate card abilities. Dice are used 1 by 1, and you apply the effect completely before moving on to the next die. Cards must be activated only once during this round, even if it has multiple abilities. So in the case of the temple, you could either gain 2 culture by placing a 1, or 5 culture by placing a 3 and the 4. You may not do both at the same turn. The basic abilities are also available at this time on the bottom of your player board. You may use all 3 of them during this phase, but you may not use the same one multiple times. So the base ones are any die face for 2 gold, any die face for 2 gold, and any die face for 2 officers. You may use the 2 officers immediately as soon as you receive them, so you can do that first and then change the 2 dice that you've already rolled. The great thing about Shaolia is it has multiple game modes to give you tons of variety as you play. You may also build your own custom games as you become familiar with the game and the cards. The possibilities are endless. The first thing you'll learn when you play the game is using the Prelude Mode. This is a 1 versus 1 game, and it will just introduce you to the basic mechanics. You can also try out the Rush Mode. It's a fast-paced game mode with a higher ratio of attack and culture cards to give a dynamic dueling experience. Now I'm going to show you an example of a first turn for the Prelude game. If I'm the first player on my turn, I'm going to go to the purchasing phase. So I'm going to spend 1 gold to purchase 1 level 1 card. Now these are always open information, so I will place it next to my player board so I can see what I have, and other players can also see. Here, place it off to the side there. 1 card's not going to be enough for me though. I'm going to pay a 2nd gold to take a 2nd level 1 card, again placing it face up so that all players can see what I have. This turn would now pass to the 2nd player. When he finishes, we're going to go on to the building phase. So now I can build the 2 cards that I've gotten onto my player board. This should be in here. I've removed that in the last turn. So I'm going to pay 1 again to place the farm out here, and I will play 1 to gain this market. Now that I've finished, I've passed my turn to the 2nd player. They can now build things onto their player board, and once they finish, we'll go into the last round, the action phase. So now we're going to go to the action phase. You'll roll your 3 dice, or more if you bought them. Wow, in most games, 3 6s would be pretty good. So I'm going to place this here. I'm going to gain 2 officers. And the 2 officers, even if I use them on the same die, will not get me down to a 3. So I have to use these 6s just to gain 2 gold. So that will give me 2 gold here and 2 gold here, which is going to put me up to 4. If I had been able to get a 3, I could have utilized my market, which would let me trade once over here on this board. So I could have traded in, say, 2 or 4 of my coins for 2 mercenaries to deal 2 damage to the palace, depending on what they had out. And that's how you play a round of Shaolia. After I finish my turn, we would pass the first player token to the other player, and they would start again with the purchase phase. So this has been a preview video for Shaolia from Bad Comet. If this sounds like a game that's interesting to you, take a look in the description for a link to the Kickstarter. Happy gaming!